tennis balls at the ready. Move your stuff out of the way so you don't run over your gear. All right, we're gonna start with a tennis ball in a standing position. You're gonna place the tennis ball between your palms. You're gonna put a little press in between your palms and just start to roll the ball around. Roll in circles, putting as much press between your hands as you can, and then start to get a little bit of a rhythm. Get it going nice and fast. Really get those hands and the shoulders kind of moving in a fast rhythm so that it gets a little warm, a little fired up. And then we're gonna go in the other direction. So start slow, drawing your circles, finding that position of the hands. And then once you feel like you've got it, speed it up a little bit. Find a faster rhythm, get your shoulders working with you, get it firing pretty fast. Nice. Take one more good circle around and then set that ball down onto the ground. Step 1 foot onto your ball, heel on the ground. We're going to trap that ball underneath the ball toe mound of the foot. Lean in and put a little press and lean off. Lean in, put a little press and lift off. Lean in, put a little press and lift off. Nice. And then if you need to reposition, but we're going to trap it under the ball of the foot and start our swish side to side. So taking it from the big toe mound to the pinky toe mound. And then once you feel like you've got it down and you got that ball trapped and you got a good rhythm, pick up the pace just a little bit if it feels good, or slow it down, but lean in just a little bit more so you can add a little bit more pressure to that position. Cool, take one more little swish side to side, and then we're gonna start to take it with a soft roll. So keeping most of your weight on your standing leg, just a gentle roll to the bottom of the foot. Think big toe, second toe, third toe, and so on. So just start to work down the length of your foot. Cool, and now we're gonna keep the ball trapped under the heel and put the ball and the toes on the floor. And then once you've got it trapped, put a little press, lean as much body weight on as you can, and then lift off. Lean in and put a little press and lift off. Lean in and put a little press and lift off. Now keep that ball trapped under your heel and just get that little swish of the heel side to side. So it might not be as big of a movement, but see if you can just keep that ball trapped. I have started noticing that the tennis ball under certain surfaces is a little bit wily. So I do it on the living room has like a linoleum type of floor, and this sucker slips out of my foot every second. So it works so much better on a mat or a carpet, I personally have found. All right, give one more good little swish, and then we're gonna take it into a big movement here. So we're gonna start to move through the bottom of the foot, all the way to the heel, and let your body weight come with you. And when you hit that heel, pause for a second, put a little press, and then relift, working down, say the big toe line, and then the second toe line, and then the third toe line, and so on, and just let your body weight kind of move with you. So we go a little deeper into the bottom of the foot. Beautiful. Take one more time through the bottom of the foot. Nice. And then we're going to bring it right back to the center of the foot. So think center of that ball toe mound where that little indentation is. Find that spot, place it right on the ball, and then lean in. Put as much press as you can. Soften the top of your foot over the ball and take 3 nice deep breaths there. Great. And then when you're ready, gently lift your foot off. We're going to take that all to the other side. So we're going to put the heel on the ground, trap the ball underneath the ball toe mound of the foot, and then start to find that little swish side to side. And then I forgot to do the lean in press. So once you've swished that foot a little side to side, bring it to the middle, lean in, put a little press, and lift off. Lean in, put a little press, and lift off. Lean in, put a little press, and lift off. Beautiful. Give one more little swish side to side, and then we'll take it the length of the foot. So most of your body weight's going to be on your standing leg, and you're just going to softly roll the bottom of the foot. So go big toe line, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe. Awesome. And then take it to the ball of the foot on the ground, underneath the heel, trap the heel, lean in, put a little press, and lift off. Lean in, put a little press, and lift off. Lean in, put a little press, and lift off. And then keep the ball trapped under your heel and find that little swish side to side. Great. One more little swish side to side, and then we're going to take a little bit more of our body weight with us. So we're going to start to mush through the bottom of the foot and let your body weight move with you. Once you find that heel, you can pause there for a second and then lift off. So we put the added little bit of body weight into the heel at the finish and then roll through the foot again. Nice. Take one more through the bottom of your foot. And then you're going to find that center part again, that little middle part underneath the ball toe mound. Find that little center part, lean in, put as much press as you can, and then soften the top of your foot over the ball. Take 3 nice deep breaths here, just allowing the top of your foot to soften. Beautiful. When you're ready, lift off. If you like, give a little soft roll just to soothe out the bottom of the foot. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down onto all fours or into a tabletop position. We're going to place that ball underneath the right hand, put a little pressure on, just find that middle of your palm. So that nice little indentation there. Place the ball right under your palm and then lean in. Put as much pressure on as you can stand, encouraging a little softness to the top of the hand. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then take it pinky finger, ring finger, do the splits on the ball, just putting a little press. And then lift off, ring finger, middle finger, splits on the ball. And then lift off, index finger, middle finger, do the splits on the ball. And lift off, nice. And now bring that webby part of your thumb onto the ball, lean in just a little bit, put as much pressure on as you can stand, soften the texture around your fingers, take a nice big breath. Lift off and then palm on the ball, just give a couple of good circles in one direction. And then a couple of circles the other way. Beautiful. And then pass it over to the other side. So underneath your left hand in the center of your palm, lean in, put as much press on as you can stand, soften the top of your hand. Awesome. And then lift up, pinky finger and ring finger, do the splits on the ball. And then lift up, ring finger, middle finger, do the splits on the ball. And then lift up, middle finger, index finger, do the splits on the ball. And then lift up. And now the webby part of your thumb, put as much press as you can stand, soften the texture around your fingers, take a breath. Cool. And then lift up, bring it back to your palm and do a couple of circles in one direction. And then do a couple circles the other way. Nice. And then from here, we're going to sit back on our butt just a little bit so that we can bring the ball down onto the ground. And we're going to place our right elbow or our right forearm onto the ball. So you're going to bend your elbow, place the forearm on the ball, and then find a little bit of a glide in and out. So think of it as a little bit of a shoulder work as well. So you're pushing your fingers over to one side and then pulling your elbow back towards the side of your mat. Nice. One more little swish in and out, and then we're going to flip. So now palm is going to face upward. You're going to place the forearm onto the ball, and now your other hand is going to come on top of that forearm, to help keep a little bit more control and a light bit of pressure as you roll through the outer edge of that arm. Beautiful. One more little roll in and out there. And then we're switching to the other side. So elbow bends, fingertips point inward, palm facing down, roll in and out. Nice soft roll here and a little bit of shoulder mobility. Cool. One more in and out, just like that. And then bring it back and flip, palm facing upward, hand to the forearm, put a little bit of a press, and then a softer, or I should say, a more controlled roll side to side, keeping that ball trapped underneath and letting that top hand put a little bit of pressure on. Nice. Take one more roll in and out. And then lift on up, and we're going to move on down to our belly. So come on down and then take your ball, placing it, find that hip bone, walk it in about 2 inches, find that nice soft indenture, and then lay onto the ball. And then once you've found that nice little soft place, you're going to let everything have a second to chill out. So you're going to step your feet into a slightly wide configuration. So maybe your toes are kind of coming to the outer edges of your mat. Soften your butt, soften your belly, let your forehead relax down. And then just allow your breath to do a little work for you here. With that ball pressing into that soft center, see if you can just allow that muscle around the ball to soften and relax. Now with that ball underneath the right side, we're gonna bend the right knee and then swish your heel a little side to side. One more little swish of the heel side to side, and then float that foot back down, roll slightly onto your left hip so you can move that ball out from underneath you and take it to the other side. So you're gonna place that ball underneath the left side, finding that nice little soft indenture of that tissue, about 2 inches in from that bony hip protrusion. Find that place, let it snuggle in, and then give a second to let everything chill out. Walk your feet into a wide position, soften your forehead down, and then just come back to your breath. Breath is doing most of the work here. We want to invite softness into the belly tissue, softness into your back. Any clenching of muscles in that area, if you can let anything go, just let it all soften so that the breath can work here. Nice. And then if you feel like you've got that softness kind of figured out, bend that left knee and then swish the heel a little side to side. Beautiful. One more swish of the heel side to side, and then float that foot down, roll over onto your right hip, remove that ball out from underneath you. And now we're going to place it under the thigh. So we're going to find that middle part of the thigh muscle, roll back onto the thigh, and then give a second to let it find a little groove to hang out in. Once you feel like you've found a place, you're going to bend your knee and then float your foot back down to the ground. Bend your knee, float your foot back down to the ground. Nice. Bend your knee, float your foot back down. 2 more just like that. Bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Beautiful. And then if it feels good, you're just going to give a little bit of a rock side to side. So think about rocking your hips side to side and just finding that little bit of massage over the ball. Take one more little rock side to side, and then we're moving it over to the other side. So you're just going to pick that ball up, find that middle part of your other thigh, lay onto that ball, let it find its groove, give it a second to find its way there. And then once you feel like you've got it, bend that left knee and straighten. Bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Nice, 2 more to go. Beautiful. And then as that foot finds the ground, a little bit of a swish at the hips so that we massage out that thigh. Nice. And then when you're ready, push your way up into a tabletop position. We're going to take the ball and place it so that you can place your shin onto the ball. And then you're going to trap that ball under the outside edge of your shin bone. So you're finding that muscle that runs to the outside edge of your shin, and then give a couple of gentle rolls up and down. Nice. One more roll up and down, and then we're going to move on over to the other leg. So reposition the ball or reposition your legs, whichever works better. Find that muscle that runs to the outer edge of your shin bone, and then start to find a nice roll up and down. Lovely. One more in and out, just like that. And then step your foot off the ball. We're going to pick the ball up, and then we're going to place the ball underneath the calf or underneath the thigh. So we want to find that little place right where the bend is. Place that ball into the little bend of the knee where the calf and the thigh meet, and then sit yourself back just as far as you can stand, and then soften. Soften the back of your thigh, soften into your breath. Take a moment or two to find your way. Awesome. Then lift up a little bit. We're going to reposition the ball, just moving it down about 2 inches. So maybe you're finding that more middle part of the calf, and then sit your butt back, trap that ball underneath you, and then lean back just as far as you like. Now it might be a little bit less pressure, so just tune in and notice. You might be able to sit back a little bit further. Take one more breath. Cool, and then lift on up, and we're going to take it over to the other side. So pass it over, tuck it underneath that little knee crease, finding that space, and then sit back onto the ball just as far as you can stand, and then come into your breath. Take some nice deep breaths here. Nice, and then when you're ready, lift up, and then reposition the ball, move it down about 2 inches or so, finding that middle part of the calf, and then set yourself back, trapping that ball, sit back a little further if you can, and then let everything soften again. Soften into your breath. Awesome. When you're ready, nice and easy, lift yourself on up. We're going to swing the legs around so that we can sit onto our butt. And then we're going to take that ball, place it under your right glute, and then give a second to just kind of find a nice place. Extend your right leg long, step your left foot in. Left foot's going to help support and do some work for you here. Once you've got that ball underneath that right glute, you're going to keep your hands on the ground, let your left leg support you, and start to circle your butt around on that ball, moving as deep or as wide as you like, working circles in a way that works best for you. Awesome. And then if you've only circled one way, maybe switch directions, circle the other way. Cool. And then find a nice soft place for that ball to settle in, and see if you can sink your butt nice and deep onto that ball. Extend your left leg long. From here, you're going to bend the right knee, let the knee be externally rotated, and we're going to lift the knee up and then lower it out to the side. Lift it up, lower it out to the side, lift it up, lower it out to the side. Nice. Lift it up, and this time just extend it nice and long. Soften your butt just as much as you can over that ball. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then lean over onto your left hip, remove that ball out from underneath you, take it to the other side. Sit your left glute onto the ball. Step your right foot in, so your right foot's going to help support the movement. Once you've got that ball in a good position, start to find some circles. Circle in any way that feels good to you. Arms and legs are helping support the movement, so you don't have to put too much pressure on if it doesn't feel good. Cool, and then when you're ready, well, if you did circles only in one direction, make sure you reverse directions, just so you're evened out and feeling happy in both directions. And then when you're ready, find a nice soft spot for that ball to settle into. Soften your butt down, send your right leg long, bend your left knee in, and then we find that external rotation. We drop the knee out to the side and then pull it back up. Drop the knee out to the side and pull it back up. Nice. Drop it out, pull it back up and send the leg long, both legs long, soften your glutes. See how much you can let those glute muscles relax. Take one more breath. Awesome. Lean off, take that ball out from underneath your butt, bend your right knee, take that ball, do the little doorknob turn. So we're just pushing in and turning as we walk down the IT band to where the IT band meets the hip. And then take those doorknob turns, maybe turn the other way and walk back up towards the knee. Left hand can be on the inside to just help a little counter pressure. Nice. One more doorknob turn up and down. And then set that ball down for a second, soften up your leg and just let your hands do a little manual. So you're just gonna take the muscle tissue and kind of turn it gently side to side, just to kind of loosen it up and soften it up. Beautiful. And then let that leg go long, step the left leg in, take your ball, do that doorknob turn to the other outside of that left thigh. Right hand to the inner thigh can help provide a little bit of counter pressure. Beautiful. One more turn up and down. Nice. And then set that ball down, soften up that leg, and then just give it a couple little good twists and turns, just kind of loosen up that muscle tissue on the bone. Nice. And then once you feel like that's all good and loosened up, both knees bent, scoot your butt forward, take your ball with you. We're coming down onto the ground. We're going to lift the butt up and then find the outer edge. So we want to think where that crest of that bone is. We're going to lift the butt up and then just barely place the ball there. So most of the work is still happening in the legs. And you're just going to kind of swish a little side to side. Imagine that there's marbles on your hip bones that you're trying to drop from one hip to the other, so that you're kind of finding this nice little sliding up and down maneuver or kind of figure 8 maneuver over the ball. Take one more little swish side to side. And then lift up, reposition the ball to the other side. So place it over to the left on that hip crest on the other side. Set your butt down just a little bit so you feel the ball trapped underneath you. Legs still do most of the heavy lifting here. And then start to find that swish again side to side. So we drop the marble to one hip bone and then to the other. One more little swish side to side. And then lift your hips up, grab that ball. We're going to pass it over to the other side. Now we're going to start to move our way on up. So find a little bit of space, maybe 3 inches up from that hip crest. And then, but we're going to stay on the muscle tissue on the side of the spine. So we're going to walk on up. So about middle of the back, 2 or 3 inches up on the muscle tissue, not on the spine bone. And then see if you can just set your butt down, soften over the ball, take a nice big breath. If it feels good, you're going to take a little knee out and knee up, knee out and knee up. One more just like that, knee out and knee up. Press into your feet, lift your hips up, move that ball up about 2 inches or so. So now you're coming up probably under the ribs still. Lower your butt down. Notice you might be in a little bit of a lopsided position. Let your back muscles soften for a second. Drop your knee out and pull it back up. Drop the knee out, pull it back up, drop your knee out, pull it back up. Nice. Lift up, and we're going to take the ball over to the other side. So pass it over to the other hand. Come up about those 2 inches or so away from that hip crest. Lower yourself down onto the ball. Give a second to let everything find its way. Make sure you're on the muscle tissue, not on the bone. And then when you're ready, left knee drops out. Pull it back up. Left knee out. And back up. Left knee out. And then back up. Nice. Lift up. Move that ball up about 2 inches. So we're still under the ribs here. Lower your spine down. Pause for a second. Let everything find its way. And then if all feels good, we drop the knee out. Pull it back up. Drop the knee out. Pull it back up. Drop the knee out. And pull it back up. Nice. Lift up. Remove that ball out from underneath you. And now we're going to move on up to the shoulder blades. So we're going to place that ball in that little groove where the shoulder blades are, and then soften over the ball. Give a second, let everything settle in. And then we're going to start to reach that right arm up and overhead and take a couple of snow angel arms. So we're just lifting up and lowering it down. Beautiful. And then if you like, take a couple of big arm circles here, go in one direction. And then take a couple of arm circles, go the other way. Cool. And then hand down on the ground. You can either glide up the ball or manually reposition the ball. So whichever feels like a better way to go. I like to glide up it, but you're just going to move it up into that groove of the shoulder blade, coming up about 2 inches or so. Give a second to settle in. And then once you found it, back to those snow angel arms, lifting your arm up and then lowering it back down. Beautiful. And then if it feels good, big arm circles in one direction. Nice. And then if it feels good, big arm circles the other way. Cool. We're going to glide up the shoulder one more time. So relax that right arm down. Either just lift your butt up and glide up the ball, or reposition the ball manually. You can just pick it up and move it. So now we're coming up into that more meaty top part of the shoulder. Give a second to let your body settle over the ball. Make sure it feels like it's in a good position. And then once you feel like it's in a good place, finding that muscle tissue and not the bone, come back to the snow angel arms, raising your arm up and then lowering it down. Great. And then if all of that feels good, take it into some big arm circles, circling in one direction. And then circle your arm the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, you're just going to lean off, grab that ball out from underneath you, pause for a second, let both shoulders relax, and then just notice. Notice how one side feels probably a lot different than the other. And now we're going to take that ball over to the other side. So tuck it underneath that low part of that left shoulder blade. Find that little groove, let your back settle down. Once you feel like you're there, left arm gives those snow angel arms, just lifting up and lowering down. Awesome. Then if it feels good, take it into some arm circles, go in one direction. And then take it into some arm circles, go the other way. Nice. And then set that arm down, either glide up the ball or reposition the ball manually. You can just move it up with your hand and then find that nice middle part of that shoulder blade groove, soften over the ball, give a second. And then once you feel like you found your way there, back to the snow angel arms, lifting your arm up and lowering it down. Nice. And if all of that feels good, big arm circles in one direction. And then maybe big arm circles go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, hand comes down to the ground. You either glide up the ball or reposition it, totally up to you. But now find that top part of the shoulder, that nice thick meaty part. Make sure you're on the muscle, not the bone. Once you found your way there, snow angel that arm up and down. Cool, and then if that feels good, big circles of the arm in one direction. And then big circles with your arm the other way. Nice, and then when you're ready, remove that ball from underneath your shoulder blade. We're gonna place it under the right side of the head. Let your head rest on the ball. Hold it in place with your hand. Draw tiny little circles in the air with your nose, go in one direction. And then draw tiny little circles in the air with your nose, go the other way. Beautiful, and then lift your head up gently. Pass the ball over to the other side, placing it under the left side of the skull. So we're underneath that strong skull bone structure. Hand is going to hold the ball in place, and you're just going to draw tiny little circles in the air with your nose, go in one direction. And then tiny little circles in the air with your nose, go the other way. Beautiful. And then let your head come to stillness, lift up, lower your head down, set the ball off to the side, and then just let your arms rest comfortably at your sides. Take a second here just to notice. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Hold both knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze, maybe a little rock side to side. Awesome. And then when you're ready, rock and roll your way up. Come all the way up into a standing position. And then in standing position, feet about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. Take a nice big breath. Reach your arms up. Notice the movement in your shoulder blades. Exhale and fold yourself down. Knees can be nice and bent. Touch the floor if you can. Let your hands hang heavy for a second. Let your head hang heavy for a second. So let the back of your neck be nice and soft and loose. Beautiful. And then bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll all the way back up to standing. Take a couple of good shrugs of your shoulders. You guys are amazing. Be sure to drink plenty of water today.